Back on the Exit 52 podcast. Happy Memorial Day, my friends. My name is Jake Louque. It is Sunday, May 25th. We are brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, and I'm joined by 2 out of 4 Arditti. Close enough to the typical nameplate there, but we had to go with 4 this time. Of course, the Orioles just cannot win a series. They have to split it at the very least. But hey, listen, a fun past couple of, games here, up and down weekend overall, but I don't know. I'm feeling very good on this Memorial Day. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm very encouraged by what I saw the last 2 games. Again, if you had tuned into the first 2 games of this, it was such a weird series with the rainouts and the double headers and the
delay on.
It was extra innings, and I don't know, the Red Sox wearing 15 different uniforms. It was bizarre. Weird stuff happens at Fenway, and it always seems
4 games over the course of 48 hours. So the people running those uniforms back and forth were getting their cardio in. That's for sure.
Pretty much. But no, again, the last 2 games were very encouraging. It took quite a U-turn from what it looked like in the first 2, but again, when you take a step back and look at it, the Orioles split a series, and that's all you kind of, I feel like you go into a 4-game series at Fenway, you just basically hope for a split, and anything extra is found money. And hear me out, they could have taken the series. They could have arguably swept them. They were in a damn good position on Friday. They're up 2-1. 2-1. I think they lost by 46, but still not. I said it's crazy that they had their pitcher came off the mound after the 5th inning in line for a win, and 2 innings later they were down 16 runs with a position player with 2 position players in the game.
I'm looking at the box score right now, and it's Orioles 2 runs in the 3rd, just a bunch of zeros. 1 run for the Sox in the 4th, 0 for both in the 5th. 5 for the Sox in the 6th, 0 in the 7th for each. 1 run for the Orioles in the 8th, 13 for the Red Sox in the 8th, and the Orioles would go on to obviously lose that one, 19-5. So yeah, I think you're onto something though. I think there was certainly an opportunity there for them in that one, and then definitely in the game after, where they would lose 6-5. And yeah, I mean, outside of that, like, it's just kind of the sign of where this team is at, and we can talk about the injuries and all of that. I think that certainly plays a part, but it does feel a little bit more competitive recently. We talked about the Brewers series. I think you guys were maybe doing some backflips after the Adley game winner there in Milwaukee, which was awesome. I was maybe a little more hesitant. I think because of the fact that even when they do play well, things seem to kind of break against them in certain ways, or for whatever reason, an injury will happen, which we saw happen today, obviously, which we'll get into, or whatever it is. It just seems like they just can't find a way to win series this year. We talked a little bit before we got going here about how this is just the 3rd time this season that they've won 2 games in a row. They still have not swept anybody. They have not won 3 games in a row at any point this season. So yeah, you're sitting here at 16-34. I think that's the fully updated record, well below 500. But it's just it was good to see them put together these 2 games, and I think it's
18-34.
18-34. My apologies. I was looking at the wrong one on Google here. But yeah, you're 18-34, and I guess the hope is coming back home against a surging St. Louis Cardinals team and the best fans in baseball. That'll be a real litmus test if you can put something together there, especially with an injury to Adley Rutschman today. I guess we can kind of look at today as sort of the big story of the series for me, because it felt like maybe the most complete outing that we've seen from them. I think Dean looked very good. He goes 5.1, 7 hits. He does get knocked around a little bit. Dean kind of can't help himself, but only walks 1 guy. 4 strikeouts. Bullpen, I thought, looked very solid between Soto, Aiken, Baker, and then Kittredge a little shaky at the end there, but the game was pretty much already in hand at that point. They gave up 2 hits actually to Marcelo Mayer in his debut series here. So yeah, I don't know. I thought today looked very good, but I guess the big story for me is the health of Adley Rutschman. And then I think I saw you throwing it out there and some other people talking, like, is it Samuel Basallo time? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know, because I sent someone a text right when it happened, because again, I know you weren't watching. You said you were out doing stuff, but if you watched it, I mean, that foul ball caught him right square in the face.
Yeah, I was listening to Jeff and Brett, and I think I went back and have watched the replay since, and there's just not really much of a way to do justice. The reaction that he had, it did not look good.
Yeah, and also because again, I know the clip I think that JCM tweeted out was only like 5 or 6 seconds. The ump kind of gave him some time, and it was weird because no one on the Orioles came out to check on him. The trainer didn't. Nobody was like, hey, hold on, let's take a look real quick. The ump kind of put his hand on him and was reassuring, but they zoomed in on his eyes, and it was a lot of this. It was a lot of like,
yeah,
like again, it's like when the power flickers right before a storm, and you're like, I don't, with kind of what's going on, but you could tell he was not all there. That was very scary. Again, and that's what Mansolino and in his post-game comments, it was like, oh yeah, the training staff, we were all over it. We were on it from the beginning, and we wanted to make sure. And I was like, brother, no, you weren't. Nobody even went to check him out. Like,
Mansolino, like I like him, but he's giving me some. Who's the guy? Not Gillis on Tires, but the main character on Tires. Give me some of that vibes a little bit.
Yes, I could see that. But like I was like, is this remember, did you see that clip when Jason Tatum like sprained his wrist? And then they flash over to Joe Mazzulla, and Mazzulla was like holding the doctor back. It was like, no, let him lie there. I was like, is this one of those things? Are they trying to toughen up Adley? But I don't know. I mean, right away, I looked at my dad and I said, I was like, that is the lights are on, but no one is really home right now, it looks like. And then it was weird because it was like then the Orioles came up to hit, and it was, who was it? It was Mateo, Jackson, and then Adley's spot. And right away they went down in order, and then I look up and I'm like, who is that bat? And it's like, oh, it's Maverick Hanley batting, but Masson still had Adley Rutschman on the score bug. So it was like they made that call. They switched him out of there really quick. Again, they didn't really give him much time, but that's something obviously keep an eye on. I don't know if that's like a 7-day IL thing. I don't even know who.
This is going to be something to watch for me. Like you mentioned the reaction. I don't think it was great. And then like, man, we talked about it on the last pod with this training staff. And then I'm thinking a little bit back, and this, I don't want to unfairly compare anything here, but I didn't necessarily love the way Heston Kjerstad was handled either last year. So like we joke about that, but like in all seriousness, like that guy was not ready to be playing when he was, I don't think. And
if Adley comes out tomorrow and is like, hey, listen, guys, it's like when you go to a restaurant, then they need to just put the tent up around, put the tarp
it's gonna
up
be like,
it.
Literally like when Trump tweets Kofifi and they're like trying to like break into his hotel room. It's like,
like that's where we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. That's a great point. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know who's on the roster outside of Basayo. I don't know if they bring up Basayo though, if it's just going to be like a 7 to 10 day IL thing.
Yeah.
Again,
that would be really weird.
Yeah, and again, it's like you don't want to call him up for an injury replacement. I know the guy that they signed this morning. What is this guy's name? I don't even know his name. They signed this guy out of nowhere. Who was on the Yankees minor league team, and he had an opt-out, and then he opted out, and they signed him, and they DFA'd Vavra. They said he's had catching experience. He was like yesterday at this time, he was on the Yankees minor league roster. They DFA'd him on Wednesday.
Utility player Cooper Hummel.
Yeah, Cooper Hummel. But yeah, he was on he had opted out of the Yankees on Wednesday. And then they were trying to look for a trade. And then last night, he's like, yeah, next thing I know, I'm on a flight too. He said he was 30 minutes away from signing another deal with a minor league team. And then he's like, next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Boston. And then this morning he's inside the Monster in an Orioles uniform signing.
The 2025 Baltimore Orioles for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's
pretty much.
But where they're at right now, I don't know.
They said he, I guess, was the emergency catcher today after Hanley went in. So I don't know what they'll do. But yeah, I'm with you. I wish they had an off day tomorrow or another day to kind of let Adley. Like tomorrow, I wouldn't even let Adley come to the ballpark tomorrow. Just don't even, I'd send him home tonight, and I would lock it. I would put one of those door things and that the chicks and the TikToks use in their hotel rooms, and like it goes under the door handle. I would put one of that from like the other side, and I would just make sure he couldn't get out of his room.
That's a corner of TikTok I have not been to.
You don't get into hotel safety TikTok?
I have not. This
Oh.
is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're missing some good quality content over there, brother. But yeah, again, I let him take tomorrow off at least. But again, I do not know what they'll do going forward with the catching position. But maybe sounds bad. Maybe this is a hard restart. You know, maybe it's when your computer shits the bed or your iPhone and you just have to
Well,
hold
like,
the power down button.
what sucks about that, last 10 games, he has 9 hits. You know,
Yeah.
he's touched home plate 6 times, 3 doubles, like a homer, obviously, that we saw, 4 RBIs, 5 walks. You know, it's just, I'm not going to say that he was all the way back or anything, but it felt like he was trending a little bit. And like that,
Yeah.
it sucks for that to happen. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's just like part and parcel. Like you send him down and like he can kind of rebuild things even further a little bit. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I know his numbers have been trending upward. And like Chris said, you know, they've won 3 out of 5. That's perfectly fine. I will take that. I don't know if that's in lockstep with Adley kind of not turning it on, but yeah, it would have been nice to see him, you know, be able to stay healthy and stay out there. But you hope he's all right, and hopefully this is just kind of a blip on the radar, and he'll be back soon. And it's funny because we're like, oh, we're so close. Like I think Cowser had like a 450-foot home run in Aberdeen the other night. And it's like, oh, nice. We're getting the band back together. We're getting all these guys up, and then one guy drops out, and it's like, ah, shit. So, you know, hopefully he's fine and he'll be okay. But hopefully he's not. Memorial Day, there's no real fireworks. I would hope not. Like that's my fear is he gets back to Baltimore tonight and he's like laying down in his bed, and then there's just fireworks outside his apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that's not what
I feel like that's usually more of a July 4th thing, at least for the official one. That's when they do the July 4th in the harbor. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. I mean, listen, shut the blinds, maybe get the noise canceling Bose headphones on, and just, you know, maybe take a gummy and let's sit down for a couple of days.
Yeah. That would be ideal. So
yeah,
hopefully our golden doodle or golden retriever boy is going to be okay.
Yeah, maybe you like ground up some aspirin and you put it in a pudding for him.
Roll it up in a piece of cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Ryan with Michael Scott. It's what I do when I need my dog to take medicine.
Pretty much.
All right. What else we want to hit on here?
We have to talk about the Ryan O'Hearn series.
Yeah.
I mean, he was awesome. He was unreal. Had the big hit last night to go up 1-0 in the 8th, I believe it was, and just kind of fisted one off and you know, got it right in on the hands and got just enough to power it into right field to put the Orioles up 1-0. They ended up winning 2-1, but he was the one that kind of got it going. And then today he's stealing bases and he hits a home run into the bullpen, and then he hits the Little League home run, and you know, he gets pelted in the ass by that ball, and it rolls away and it gets to Meyer, and Meyer throws it into the camera well, which we'll talk about that later too. But and then he scores on the Little League home run. I'm glad people are taking notice of Ryan O'Hearn because he's now he's qualified for the batting title and all that stuff with the amount of at bats he has. I think coming into today he was 5th in the AL in average. He was at 315, I believe, and he added on another, I don't know, what was it, 2 or 3 hits today.
Yeah.
He's just consistently an awesome person and player. He was 3 for 3, a home run, a double, and a walk, I believe, and a stolen base. Yeah, so he's now batting 329 with a 956 OPS.
Yeah, and 8 homers so far this season. His career high last year was 15.
And he's at 149 at bats. He's playing every day. That's a bat you can't really take him out of the lineup. And I thought, go back and listen. I tweeted it last night, but his post-game press conference on Masson was awesome last night. And they asked him about it. And, you know, hey, it's been tough the last couple of weeks. How do you guys keep coming to the ballpark? And this is what he told me last week at Jimmy's. He was like, listen, and there's nothing new, but he goes, losing sucks. This is not fun, because he was kind of not getting shit, but he had said, like, listen, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to have fun every day, regardless of what happens. And he's like, I'm going to have fun being in a clubhouse and putting on an Orioles uniform and getting to play baseball with some of my best friends. Like, obviously, and he was like, nobody wants to lose. This absolutely sucks. But he's like, we're doing our best, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna try. And you heard a lot of those quotes this weekend. Like, I know you harped on the Trevor Rogers quotes. About being like, these are people, And again, that's a guy who O'Hearn was left for dead in Kansas City. He was the worst player on the worst team in baseball and probably thought his baseball career was over. And now
he said a few weeks ago, we Instagrammed the clip, another Masson interview where he was like, it's literally the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, coming to Baltimore, getting to play for the Orioles. Like, that's the type of guy you want to get behind. And it goes all the way back to what we said even prior to that. Like, he just feels like a guy who would have slid in so naturally into like the Buck Showalter era. And like, that's a nice change of pace where we've got these, our TikTok generation, our Adleys and our Gunners and our Cowsers, who we love to death, obviously, but we talk about those guys not really having faced any adversity in their life, and this is the first time that they've had to go through that. Ryan O'Hearn has been in the shit and he's crawled back out of it, and like, it's great to see, even amidst a lost season like this one is looking like. It's the Andy Dufresne. Yeah, he tunneled behind Rita Hayworth, and he gets into the tunnel shit and he comes out the other side. Would have been nice for this to be a competitive season for that to happen, but we're not quite there yet.
We talk about the golden retrievers and the golden doodles and this and that. Ryan O'Hearn is the beat up bulldog that was in the last cage at the kennel, who nobody ever looked at and wanted, because everybody came and wanted to adopt the brand new puppies that are jumping around and are all friendly. And this is a guy who's like, listen, just let me go out there and play ball. And that's all he wants to do.
I was talking about it with Mike at the last game I went to, I think against the Guardians. Like, the fact that his walk-up song is Ted Nugent. Yep. I forget, Stranglehold.
Stranglehold.
Yeah, like, that is that's a banger. That is a hard rock song, Southern rock. Like, that speaks to who he is. Whereas you got Adley with Kid Cudi and Gunner with the woo wee hoo. Like, all that stuff is fun and great, but just having a rip shit, MF-er like Ryan O'Hearn in the middle of the lineup. It's just a nice feeling in a day and age where, as Banks would say, everything's getting a little bit softer. He wants a Shark Tank that's a lot more cutthroat. Well, Ryan O'Hearn's a more cutthroat type of ball player.
He absolutely is. And it was funny at the Jimmy's event, somebody actually brought the Ted Nugent record and had him sign the forehead of it. And he said he's got some stuff in the works with old Uncle Ted for some stuff coming up. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, he's a baseball player, man, and he's a hell of a player, and I'm very happy for him. I'm thrilled that he's getting the opportunity here, and somebody just tweeted me. I tweeted him back during the show, but they said he feels like the leader, and I was like, brother, there ain't no feel. Like, he's the leader here, and it goes back to last year, and you remember like that second half when we were like, somebody has to get thrown out, somebody has to do something, and he went apeshit on an umpire. And it was funny. I was talking to his agent, and his agent said at one point, like, he told Ryan, like, speak up for yourself, like, make the umpires scared, like, make them think about, like, if I call this pitch that may be a ball, if I call that a strike, like, this guy may strangle me. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, good. They need that guy. And it's funny too, because we talked about the Heston part, the concussion last year. If you watch, the first guy out of the dugout was Ryan O'Hearn. Yeah. And he said, it's funny because he was telling us the story too. He said he went into the pile and he was like, I was ready. I was itching to go. And then he said he felt the hand of God on his back. And he turned around and Aaron Judge had his hand on his back. And he was like, that's when he was like, okay, I think I'm good here. I think I'm good. Yeah, my bad. But again, he plays his ass off every day, and you could see it. I even went like on the Little League home run. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but when he ran to third, I was like, no, don't go. Like, yep. I didn't think the ball had gotten away enough, but he just, and I'm with him.
That's another data point for the ball hitting off of the, I guess like that was a homer, but I think he might have had another one where a ball hit off the wall. The guy's trying to dig it out, and he's just running around the bases. So yeah, in one of his 3 hits today. So
yeah, he's awesome. He's turned into a really good player, and I hope he's here for a lot longer than just the next couple weeks and this year, hopefully. So, but it was awesome to see him kind of, again, I mean, he catapulted these 2 wins pretty much, and he does anything that's asked for him. He'll play wherever he does. Now he's stealing bases. Like, who the hell does this guy think he is, stealing bases? So
we'll see, man. I mean, there's going to be some conversations to be had about the future of this ball club in the coming weeks, and he could be a guy that could maybe net you something.
And that's obviously where the conversations go. But there's also just the stuff that he preaches. And he said it to me at the Jimmy's event, and he said it today. Like I was telling you in the press conference, somebody asked him, have you guys turned a corner? And he's like, we're not talking turning corners yet. That is a far away conversation to have. But he's
as
like,
we said, the corner isn't even on the horizon right now. You're sitting in standstill traffic. You're maybe leaking some transmission fluid. It's you got a long way to go before the corner is in view.
Yeah, your turn signal's not even on yet, and you're not turning any corner. But he said you got to take it day by day and game by game. And that's what he told me the other night. He was like, if we can make up 1 to 2 games, it's a little different than Spenny being like, just win 20 games in a month. Yeah, it's just easy. Just turn it on. Just win 20 in a month, and you'll be fine. But he was like, if we can make up 1 to 2 games per week for the next couple weeks, and then we can reevaluate and see where we are. And I was like, that just shows you, I guess, the difference in the thinking from like a fan being like, well, if we can just win,
Well, like that's the funny thing about baseball. Like, I mean, in 2022, where they're really not like a serious playoff team, what do they win 11 in a row that season? And it's just like these things can happen. So I wouldn't totally write it off, but yeah, you can't like look at that as like that's the path. I think the path has to be like, hey, let's just try to win every series we go out and play in. And it goes back to us talking about them not being swept and how that was such an impressive stat. And like we would say it even in 2023, I remember early on in that season, it's like, hey, just stack series wins and see what happens. And they wound up, going on to win 101 that year. So
that was Buck's thing. Buck would just be like, hey, if you win series, good things are going to happen. That's where the 2 out of 3 came from. Like, doesn't matter who you win this guy starts or that guy starts. Doesn't matter. If you win 2 out of 3 games, you're going to be in a good position, for a majority of the season. And that's obviously always what happens. So like you said, he just, like he said, absolutely take it every single game, one at a time. And just, it's as cliche gets. We're playing for today and we're playing for each other. That's what he preaches a lot too. Like, we're just playing for each other. Like, if nobody else cares, that's fine. We got it. But he's been awesome, and this was a really good series, and I would love to see him recognized maybe with an all-star appearance or something like that. So I think that would be cool. I think it's in the realm of possibility too. So let's try and make that happen when the voting comes around.
Yeah, I mean, the whole every team having to have a representative thing, it should be right now.
I tweeted that, and some Yankees fan tweeted and was like, they don't let all-stars in from teams with dog shit records. And I was like, "Oh, brother, whose jersey do you have that has a name on the back of it, partner?" It's also like that's one of the most well-known like rules in the sport. Like, every team gets a. But it was just like I was like, you can just say you don't know baseball, like you don't follow it. That's fine.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah. So. Other big story, obviously, Trevor Rogers yesterday in a 2-1 victory goes 6.1, allows only 2 hits with 5 strikeouts. This was I listened to the earlier game yesterday. I didn't really catch much of this one. I had a big Spenny day yesterday. Actually, played golf with him the morning, early afternoon. Then he had me out to a little rooftop situation party. Had a couple of brewskis out on the rooftop down in Canton. It was a great Memorial Day celly with Spenny and some of his pals. But I bring that up because we were not locked in on the game at all. We were playing some wavelengths, which was a lot of fun. And in the midst of one of the wavelengths games, he leans over to me and says, Trevor, it was like literally like the George Bush meme, like Trevor Rogers, like his fucking feeling 6.1, like, shutout performance, 6.1 innings. And I felt like DJT in the Ruth Bader Ginsburg video. Like, I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. I was flabbergasted by this. I think everybody was, based upon obviously how he looked last season, how he's looked thus far in sort of his rehab performances this season down in the minors, but comes up and just out of nowhere throws an absolute gem. Just awesome stuff to see. And you kind of hinted at my tweet that, these are human beings that we're talking about, and nobody has taken more shit from this fan base probably than Trevor Rogers. I think not just because of his performance, but obviously the context of what they gave up to get him and how Kyle Stowers has looked this season. But he spoke after the game, and Jacob Calvin-Meyer transcribed it in a tweet where he said, quote, "You go through life and life's going to suck sometimes, and you never know when it's going to turn around. But I know for certain it'll never turn around if I quit on myself. So I just kept putting in the work, hoping in the back of my mind that it'll turn around. Today was a big step forward." And it's just like what we're talking about. Just take a little step forward, try to show something. Maybe don't make the playoffs, but whatever, you got to just try to put your best foot forward. And that was really cool to see from a guy who's had a difficult calendar year and even before that. So.
Oh yeah, and we talked about it, but this was a guy who was going to make the roster out of camp. Yeah, I mean he was a shoo-in to make it, and then he dislocates his kneecap working out. I think it was like it was right before the caravan or after. It was like it was a couple weeks before spring training opened. But yeah, this guy's been down shit road and back, it seems like, and you said it, but every Orioles fan already seemingly hates this guy for no reason. It's not like he wanted to come in here and pitch bad to start and then get hurt and then have some tough outings in the minors. But yeah, I mean, people already can't stand him, and it seems like he's behind the eight ball already, and it's not necessarily his fault, really. That's he's like, I didn't ask to be traded. It's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool to see him go out and pitch and perform like that. I mean, I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card for 2025. But I'm like we talked about, sign us up for a couple more starts of that. He's obviously going to be in the rotation now going forward. I think he pretty much has to be. And he looked good doing it too. So I'm very happy for him. And not just him. I mean, all the pitchers. Like I have all the box scores up here. I'm going to run through it real quick. Povich on Friday in that winnable game, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. Eflin in the pouring down rain, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 K. Okay, that's not a great start. Then Trevor Rogers, 6 1/3, 2 hits, 5 Ks, 0 walks, 0 earned runs. And then today, our brother Dean, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks. That it was pretty much a great. If you would have gone into the series being like, hey, Zach Eflin's going to give you the worst outing out of everyone this weekend, you probably would have been a little confused, but that's kind of what happened. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome to see Rogers do that. And it was funny because they asked Mansolino, like, he went 6 1/3. How much did you expect out of him? And he was like, we didn't know. We had no clue, but they kind of had to get that from him. Just with the way the schedule had been and the doubleheader and the weather and the postponements and the delays and it seemed like anything that could happen was happening. So good for him. I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the year. Again, we know he's not going to go 6 1/3 scoreless every night, but we said if he can pitch to a 3, 5, or 4 ERA over the another 20 starts, that would be awesome. I mean, that would be a huge help to this team. They need as much pitching as they can get, and it doesn't matter who it comes from or where. But yeah, that was awesome to see him. I'm sure once he got back to his hotel room, he probably sat down and had a nice fuck yeah fist pump, or just.
I would assume some beers were consumed after that one,
they should be. He's deserved it. He's absolutely deserved it. So that was, and I tweeted, I was like, we all owe Trevor Rogers an apology, and somebody was like, yeah, it's just one game. Shut up. Like, yeah, I get it. I know it's one game, but like,
they've won 18 of them, and it's about to be June. So
you're like I said last week, you're allowed to celebrate this stuff. It's okay to be happy for Trevor Rogers that he pitched like an incredible game. It's okay. Like, stop doing this stuff. Just like I got into it yesterday with some guy who was like, he got mad that Gunner, he said that country bumpkin hasn't done anything. Country bumpkin hasn't done anything. Oh, he's not clutch. And I was like, this is what we're doing now. We're turning our back on Gunnar Henderson. It's like, get the fuck out of here, you idiot. Like, and I said, I was like, you don't deserve to be a fan if this is what we're doing. But be happy for your guys. Like, you want them to win, right? We're rooting for them. It's okay. Like, I'm very happy for Trevor Rogers. He may go an inning and a third next week. That's fine. It's baseball. It's going to happen. But right now, good for him. That was awesome. I hope he celebrated that win and took his time with it. And I hope we see him up here soon. And because again, they didn't use up an option, like bringing him up and all that stuff. So I think they said that they're going to have him probably back in 4 days, and we'll go from there. So it's just another weapon if he can kind of turn it around and find it again. So
yeah, I mean, with Grayson's recovery going the way that it did and having the setback, I mean, it would just be nice to have a little bit of a good vibe going on while we're still waiting for him.
Aberdeen soon, I'm pretty sure for the gray guy, the gray rod. So I don't know when, but yeah, that'll be a
Radistrom bullpen like last month. It's
Couldn't ask for much more. Absolutely not. That was a best case scenario for them yesterday, and save the pen. Again, after a brutal pen day on the first game yesterday, and then the laugher on Friday. So tip your cap to him. Do whatever you want, but that was awesome by him. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other kind of big stories you want to hit here on this one?
Shout out Melanie. That was again. I'm friends with Melanie's husband Andrew, who is a wonderful guy. He's a Red Sox fan.
Great guy, yeah, Red Sox fan. He was keeping the beers flowing for us at Pickles on opening day.
Yeah, he always is. He was on the Monster. He was on top of the Monster on Friday, and then he texted us yesterday in the game, and he's like, "We're going to the hospital." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean we?" And I was like, "Oh, you that drunk already?" And I was like, "I don't think you can just go to the hospital because you're drunk, dude." And he's like, "No, Mel got smoked with a ball." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I texted her last night. I saw the picture that she posted and then had to take down. It wasn't the Orioles who asked her to take it down. We'll say that it was not. But
John Angelos is just sitting in Nashville, just
him and Carter Faith at the concert.
He's just sitting there in his denim jacket on Broadway with a big 10-gallon Stetson on, just fuming at that picture that she tweeted out.
Pretty much. But again, I mean, you saw the replay today. She took 86 off the side of the head, and I texted her. I said, "They did you dirty with that slow-mo." I don't know if you saw
it looked like the Zapruder film. Like
like she's falling back and her leg is like going. I was like, "Come on!" Yeah, like back into the left and all that. But yeah, I mean, she was a trooper. She came back for the end of the game last night. Yeah. And I was like, "You should wear a football helmet down there." And she was like, "I can't put anything on my head right now because it hurts so bad." So, that was.
Imagine getting hit by an 86 mile an hour.
Yeah, she got it like right here. It looked like that will not be a fun. I was shocked that she was working there today. So again, that girl's a warrior. She's awesome. Ben, you didn't watch it today, but Ben, they interviewed her because they were talking about it and they were showing it. And then they were showing her and they showed the bottle of wine that Rob Refsnyder gave her because that's who hit her.
Oh, I'm looking at that right now. Yeah.
Yeah. She's known Rob. I don't know if you're hearing it, but she's like, I covered his whole minor league career and I've known him for 10 years or whatever. And,
I got the bottle right in front of me.
And then they flashed back to Ben and he's in a catcher's mask and he's just wearing the mask.
Yeah.
So it was funny.
So but Rob writes on the bottle, "I was aiming for you, but I can't believe I actually hit you. I'm so sorry. Hope it helps your head feel better."
Well, and then again, during the interview, she said, "I'm allergic to wine. There's something in wine that she can't have." So she was like, "This will be a nice little keepsake. I'm sure Andrew will pop it and have a swig or two." But yeah, again, seriously, man, that's a dangerous spot down there. And some jerk off in her comments last night was like, "Put your phone down and pay attention." It's like, if you watch it, she clearly was watching the game.
Yeah, dude, I think what you were talking about a second ago, and with this, I think some people are just maybe a little too far down the misery rabbit hole. I think we can probably just, if we're tweeting that stuff out, maybe it'd be good to put the phone down, just take a step back for a day or two.
Probably smart. But I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. It was a good weekend. Well, again, all things considered, getting that split after the way the first two ended, and like we talked about, they're not you can't even see the corner yet that they need to turn. But just the fact that they were able to bounce back from those games, I think it's little stuff like that. Like the game today was maybe their best played game in a while. The game last night was a 2-1 win where the bullpen came in and absolutely shut it down. Shout out Jorge Mateo. He had some great plays in center field and he almost made a great catch in the ninth there, falling into the bullpen up there. But they were just some well played games. Dylan Carlson today. It's like they're getting they got these wins on the back of kind of like the toys from the island of misfit toys. Like they were led by Trevor Rogers, Ryan O'Hearn, Dylan Carlson, Jorge Mateo, like those kind of guys. And Gunnar had the brutal error on the first game that I guess ultimately cost them. But again, Ramon makes another great play today. But the Dylan Carlson plays today were fantastic too. And that's another guy who people have crapped on. I think he had one hit coming into the series and he went apparently he just hits at Fenway, but he had the home run today. He had a couple more hits. He had
the awesome play to rob the home run.
Right that's an incredible play out there. So again, that's another guy that has been dead, buried, and run over 2 or 3 times, and people are like, why is this guy even on the roster? What are we doing? And it's awesome when those kind of guys, Emmanuel Rivera, who comes in and pitches in relief and gives up like 86 runs, and then plays some good games at first base too. Like that was awesome. But
that's where it's hard to like. I'm not going to freak out too much over a 19-5. They've lost by a bigger margin than that already this season. I'm looking at Emmanuel Rivera's box score right now. 1 inning pitched, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 walks. That's that's not exactly Chris Davis back in 2011. Just coming in and absolutely dominating. But
yeah, no, absolutely. And I said the same thing. I was talking to Hollander, and he said that too. I said, where does this loss stack up on the leaderboard for bad losses this year? And he was like, that one doesn't really bother me because Emmanuel Rivera gave up 8 of them. He's like, it's whatever. But I mean, Soto was good. I guess today he pitched, I think. Soto?
Let me pull it up.
He was not good. He has not been good this year.
He did pitch today. Yeah, he went 2/3 and struck a guy out.
And Sir Anthony pitched better last night. He has not been good this year. They obviously DFA'd Perez. That was a weird move. They DFA'd Perez after game 1 yesterday, after pitching Aiken and Soto in game 1. So they had no lefties to go in game 2 last night.
Yeah,
out of the bullpen, which is, I was like, that. I guess that works. That's fine.
If that is it for him, just a tip of the cap to CNL Perez. He was a lot of fun to watch.
He was, and he had his time. He was awesome. He was unhittable, and he was lights out for a while there. But he's just, I don't know what it was. It was the second half of last year that's been the poison for this team, was just whatever got into the water at Camden Yards second half of last year. You gotta. It was nice that they were able to, not nice, but they got to flush that and get it out and go from there. But yeah, adios to CNL, and we'll see you when we see you. I'm sure he'll be catching the home run balls in some bullpen sometime soon, but that's what happens, and you got to do it. But another lights out appearance today by my your mom's favorite reliever, Brian Baker.
Yep.
Just all he does is get outs, man. He's awesome.
Yep. So 1 inning pitched and a blank stat line.
Seven pitches. I was like, hear me out. Obviously, Felix has looked a little shaky. Cano has been, I think over a 5 ERA. Brian Baker, 9th inning.
Kittredge, yeah, like we said, Kittredge, he gives up the earned run today, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. I'll give him his credit, but
your drunk uncle, Andrew Kittredge.
Yeah, the Andrew Kittredge era, as it is henceforth known from Jacob Kaltmeyer.
Did you see JCM tweet? JCM said they're now undefeated in the guy that they brought up yesterday.
In the Cooper Hummel era.
It's Cooper Hummel and what's his name? I don't even know this other guy's name. It's the reliever that they brought up.
Let's see.
I thought I retweeted it, but this goddamn website is so bad. This website sucks right now.
Yeah, it's not good.
It is so bad. I can't.
Orioles are undefeated in both the Cooper Hummel era and the Yarmir Geraldo era.
Yeah, where were you for the Yarmir Geraldo era beginning? So
sounds like a Lord of the Rings character.
I'm sure Colton and Gunnar and them will be all over that.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting caught up in Banks's text right now. What a wild text to send in the middle of a podcast. Come on, Banks, get it together. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, Carlson, Mel, O'Hearn. Shout out the starters. I don't know. Let's go. I dare them. I dare them to win a series. I dare them to win this series at home coming up. Take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you won't
win a big game. Win a big game on Memorial Day. That should be a fun crowd. It should be. I would expect it to be a big crowd. They even got me being like, I could go down there tomorrow. I could.
I will be there on Wednesday, as we discussed. I got a little situation going on.
And we're also giving out the tickets to 2 tickets in the Bird Bath. Go tweet. I guess just answer back to any tweet from Exit 52 with a picture of you subscribe to the YouTube as we make our climb to 3K. So
we are officially, I was checking the Saber metrics. We are officially 2 subscribers away from the 3,000.
That's it. We're not gonna, well, let's just not get there.
Yeah, that would be very fitting.
We're gonna make the I think we're gonna make the announcement on Tuesday, sometime on Tuesday. But again, the game is for Wednesday, so we'll get you those tickets. Shout out our guy Chicago Bill, big loyal Exit 52 supporter, and he won a nice chunk of change from that Orioles game on that Brewers game on Wednesday. Same game that I made a decent chunk of change on. I just woke up, I was like, they're winning today, and slapped 50 on them.
Damn.
Lo and behold.
That's a big unit, my friend.
Well, again, when they were what 3-18 in their last 21 or whatever, and in one of those games is one that I was like, I bet you they're winning this game, and I put my money where my mouth is. So people say I don't know ball. I don't know ball, but blind squirrel, you know.
Yeah, they were due, right? Broken clocks, things
they
like
were.
that.
They were. Yeah, I don't know. You know, Eric Fetty and Charlie Morton tomorrow, so bring the kids out and.
That's a duel of the fates if I've ever heard one. That's just a showdown for the ages. That's Maximus in the gladiator ring.
Yeah, where were you for the Eric Fetty Charlie Morton Memorial Day battle?
Yeah, there glory will not, or time will not dim the glory of their deeds as they go out there.
Hopefully let's hope the Orioles can come away and get this win. That would, if they win 3 in a row, I think people are going to be like, all right, this.
They're not looking good. They're 18-34. Just don't let them win 3 in a row.
Yeah, don't let them. So we'll take it game by game, and we'll have to go from there. So
yeah, we will. All right, pal. Anything else before we close up shop here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. Sayonara. By the way, the Boston misery is great. Like, I was texting Carabas, and it's awful. He was like, the Red Sox are 500. They went 500 on the homestand, and they went 500 in the series against the Orioles. Like, this is just.
So would you rather be the team that did fuck all in an offseason when they were hoping to be World Series contenders and like have this be the result with the Orioles, or would you rather be the team that went out and like swung their D's around and they're sitting here at 27-28 right now?
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough because again, that you could look on the side of the Red Sox and be like, well, we have Bregman for another X amount of years, and I don't know what the Buehler contract was, but I don't know. That's tough because
it's not. Yeah, I would not. I don't know if I'd immediately.
I mean, if the question is, would I rather have a better record? Then yes. Like I would rather have 27 wins than 18. Like yeah. I will. Put me on the record for saying that. Like that may be a little bit controversial, but
well, that's where I am with like the Boston misery. It's like, hey, like Red Sox fans, like,
well, I think
I've seen the other side, and it's not pretty.
Their biggest gripe, I think, so far is that like I didn't even realize I think they've had like 3 straight like last place finishes. So I think and then they finally spend again. Yeah, 27 wins in Garrett Crochet, or 18 wins and Tomoyaki Sugano and Charlie Morton.
don't bring Tomo into this.
I'm just saying, like that's I would never disparage Uncle Tomo's name. Did you see? I think Big Mike tweeted it out. They put a nameplate, piece of paper over his nameplate.
Yeah,
and it said Brad Sugano. I don't know. I'll have to find someone to ask about that.
He's Brad and like Eflin is Chad, and they're just like
the Brad and Chad brothers.
Yeah, the bullies of the locker room.
Huh. That could be. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask about that, but that was pretty funny. I don't know. I think that is it though. I don't have. I'm scrolling to see if I missed anything, but I don't.
Yeah, I do kind of lay out, and I let you sort of stew over it for a minute, because I know you always got something left in the chamber.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, we talked about it in the group chat, but Marcelo Meyer is Vinny. He is Queens Boulevard.
Yeah,
like identical to Vinny Chase.
Yeah, they really just kind of rushed him out, honestly. Not really. He's looked pretty good so far. I mean,
That's perfect. That was perfect. He did make a great throw today that flew into the camera well. The best too was after he threw that ball into the camera well. Ben was like, "Heads up, Mel! Like you better get down over there, girl." Something like that. But it was very funny. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. And now I'm gonna go enjoy some adult sodas and watch the New York Knickerbockers hopefully piss down their leg yet again. And watch.
I'd like that to be a competitive series. Come on, I need more Chalamet. I need more Ben Stiller. Sitting on the wood. I'd like.
I think they lose in 5, but I like Halliburton. I've always liked Halliburton. I liked him. I think it was Iowa State. Like I wanted the Wizards to get him.
Yeah,
but he's a fun player to watch. So
yeah, give me as much Larry David, and like if we could get
plugging his ears when that was a perfect video. Like of course he's plugging his ears at an NBA game, sitting courtside during a game winner.
It's also so funny that it's him and Susie who are just two of the greatest rivalries, just the biggest antagonists against each other in a show of all time, and they're both.
They're great friends. They're really good friends.
And they're both New York people. Like Jeff's a Chicago guy, so he wouldn't be there. And Danson obviously is LA, so it would make sense. Yeah.
I was watching Arrested Development last night, and it was the episodes where maybe somehow they get into she gets a job at that she doesn't get a job. She pretends that she works there, and Jeff is the I don't know, her boss or whatever, and she's trying to get Tobias a job, and it's just Jeff being a creep, which is not too far off, but good old Jeff.
Makes sense.
That show's great. That's great, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Maybe actually popped up in an episode of Severance this past season, which I was like, there's maybe. She was also in that show Search Party. I don't know if you ever watched that. That was a really good slept on show that not a lot of people watched, but 4 seasons. She's the main character in it. She's really good in that.
She's making her way back. Good for maybe. Yeah. Good for maybe, but I don't know. I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, if that's all you got, that is all I have, my friend. Thank you all for hanging with us here on your Memorial Day weekend. Hope you had yourself a nice one, a safe one. Hope you grilled out a little bit, had a couple adult beverages, and enjoyed yourself. And of course, shout out to all our service members. We love you very much, and hope you are enjoying yourself wherever you are. Shout out to Jimmy's Famous Seafood as always. Shout out to our YouTube subscribers. If you are not one of them, go ahead and subscribe to it. We are 2 away from 3,000. And if you tweet yourself, subscribe to our channel, to any of our X52 tweets, at X52 podcast on X, you can DM us, do whatever you got to do to communicate that you are subscribed. You have a chance to win 2 free tickets to the game against the Cardinals on Wednesday night, courtesy of listener Bill. So follow us on X52 podcast on X to get in the mix there. Follow us there. X52 podcast, that is on Instagram. You can find me at Jake Louque, that's LOUQUE on X. Eric is at EDITTI22. It's his favorite website. You can always find him chopping it up there. You can get in his comments and rile him up, ruffle his feathers a little bit. That would be good. Brian at Barstool Banks, who is down a rabbit hole with a certain famous Olympian from the area who apparently had something very bizarre go on. Prayers up to our guy, Michael Phelps. You can find Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. And Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back at you very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Arrivederci.